Hey guys, darkmaster491 here, and this is my top 8 set versus dabide from the Rose Tower Open tournament during the 4th of July weekend. This is basically a rematch since I played dabide in round 6 during the Swiss rounds of the tournament, so there's going to be plenty of mind games going on in this set. My opponent is probably feeling very confident going into this battle since they beat me 2-0 in round 6, so I think my opponent is going to bring the same lead as they did before, which is Whimsicott and Tapu Fini, and this time I'm going to lead with Dragapult and Rillaboom. I've had plenty of time to think about this matchup and I've got everything planned out now, so yeah, I'm leading with Dragapult and Rillaboom, and I'm going to have Urshifu and Incineroar in the back, and let's see how things go in this battle. Since this top cut is actually an open team sheet, I know that the only Pokemon on my opponent's team that has Detect, or Protect, basically is Urshifu, and the rest of the Pokemon don't have Protect. So I can easily target into them as long as they're not Dynamax. Yeah, so Thundurus and Metagross have all attacking moves, so they can't even max guard. Fini could max guard, since they actually have the Trick and Choice specs. So they Dynamax Fini. Fini can go for the max guard. And let's see, yeah, Entei is all attacks, and Whimsicott never Dynamaxes, so yeah, I'll figure this out. But basically, it's only the Urshifu that can protect. So my game plan is to just not fall for the Urshifu protecting, and yeah, deal with the other Pokemon first. But we'll see how this game goes, and we'll just take it turn by turn. Okay, they're gonna lead with the Whimsicott and Tapu Fini, so that's really good. And yeah, my Rillaboom is slower than the Tapu Fini, so this is a huge advantage for me. So yeah, the Misty Surge is gonna activate first, and yeah, so it doesn't matter if they set up the Tailwind, since I'm still gonna get the Grassy Glide priority. So I could go for yeah, I could just go for max Airstream, Grassy Glide, or max Phantasm. Like, it doesn't really matter. I think I might, it would be a better idea to probably max Airstream, but I still want the defense drop, like in case they switch out Tapu Fini for some reason. I mean, they could switch into Metagross, I guess, so probably would be a better idea to max Airstream. I mean, another play I could do is to cover for that. I could double into Fini slot, but let's see. See, they have to consider that I could also go for the Fake Out and max Airstream play, or max Phantasm. So they might actually take the risk and leave Fini in to respect the Fake Out, because they know I have Fake Out. I mean, pretty much all Rillaboos have Fake Out, but it's open team sheet, so they know my moves and I know their moves. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. They're gonna stay in, so that's really good. Yeah, really good. So I should be able to knock out this Fini easily, unless they Dynamax the Tapu Fini. And yeah, gonna go for that Grassy Glide, and then that should pick up the KO on Tapu Fini unless they Dynamax, but I'm pretty sure they're not gonna Dynamax the... Well, actually, I had a feeling they might Dynamax the Fini. So they're gonna get the Tailwind off, and yeah, we're gonna get the Grassy Glide off, and this is gonna pick up the KO on Tapu Fini, I guess, unless it's like... Yeah, it picks up the KO. I was gonna say unless it's like max HP, max defense, which obviously doesn't make sense because they're a Choice Specs Tapu Fini, so usually it might be like max HP, max special attack, or some speed investment, which obviously they have a decent amount of speed investment, since the Tapu Fini was actually faster than my Rillaboom. Alright, so they're going to send out Metagross and Urshifu. So this is really good. We have an early 4-2 lead, so this is exactly what I wanted to have happen here. Let's see, the only issue is I'm going to lose Dragapult to... Well, it's possible, maybe, since the Urshifu is Focus Sash, maybe Dragapult can actually survive. Yeah, maybe Dragapult could actually survive a Wicked Blow. But I'm thinking of going for, let me see. I actually want to go for max Airstream. I'm a little conflicted about what to do here, because they have the Tailwind up, so both of their Pokemon are going to move first, but I still have the Grassy Glide priority. So here, let's see. I'm just gonna go for Grassy Glide into Urshifu. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna knock out Dragapult with like Wicked Blow anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, they're gonna Dynamax the Metagross. Yeah, so it actually turns out that they do have access to Max Hailstorm on the Metagross, but they just simply didn't use it the last time I played them. So they have that option. Okay, I'm gonna get the Grassy Glide off, and that does a reasonable amount of damage. So, okay, ooh, Dragapult actually survives Wicked Blow, so that's really nice. Yeah, a very nice survival there. So let's see if they double into it. Okay, they don't double into it, so that's huge. I can get some damage to Dragapult now. Okay, and yeah, they're Life Orb. We're gonna get a Max Phantasm into the Metagross. I wanted a little damage into the Metagross. Okay, so here's the thing. Now they're in a position where they have to either protect... Let's see, yeah, they protect Urshifu, and they still end up taking a Max Airstream. So I could double into Urshifu, but like Max Airstream is actually not going to do that much in that case. But I'm actually... Let's see, I'm considering switching... It's actually a good idea to switch out Rillaboom. I'm thinking of switching into Incineroar and then just letting Dragapult faint. The next turn I could bring Incineroar and Urshifu, and then just fake out and close combat, or Surging Strikes to Urshifu works too, so they can't protect on Urshifu's attacks. So that's a really good thing about Urshifu. So I'm gonna go for a Max Airstream. I mean, they could protect. I think I'm gonna switch into Incineroar here, and yeah, next turn I'm gonna bring out my own Urshifu, go for the fake out and close combat. So yeah, Urshifu is the only Pokemon on their team that has Detect Protect. But yeah, that's basically gonna get invalidated by Fake Out and oh, they went for Sucker Punch. So that's really good. Okay, so yeah, Incineroar's getting a free switch in here. Yeah, they tried to Sucker. I mean, that's a fair play to try to Sucker Punch the Rillaboom to... Yeah, to get in the one last attack before the Grassy Glide. Well, they would knock out Rillaboom before Rillaboom gets to Grassy Glide. I think Rillaboom was low enough. Alright, I forgot how much Rillaboom HP. Yeah, it was in the red, right? So yeah, that would have picked up the KO. So it's a very good thing I switched out the Rillaboom, preserving it. And it's going to be very useful here, because... Yeah, they don't really have too much damage output into... Well, actually, they have... since it's Life Orb Metagross, it's still pretty dangerous. But the good thing is they have not set up a Hailstorm or Rock Fall or anything like that, and Urshifu's always going to survive an attack. So it doesn't really matter if they go for like the Max Quake or... Yeah, Max Hailstorm is resisted. The only thing I do have to look out for is the Bullet Punch from the Metagross. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to get that Fake Out. They're going to protect. It doesn't matter anyways, because... Yeah, they're going to Max Quake into Urshifu, because if it wasn't to Incineroar, I would have seen the Shuka Berry activate. But yeah, so Max Quake into the Urshifu, which is a fine play, but I'm still going to get that attack from my own Urshifu into their Urshifu. Going to go for the close combat. I wasn't 100% sure if the Surging Strikes would have picked up the KO from that range, so yeah, I figured close combat is fine. I mean, if I need to, I could always switch out Urshifu into, let me see. Well, actually, I'm not really sure if the Dynamax turns, yeah, the Dynamax turns ended, right? Okay, so what I can do, I can actually... I don't think Bullet Punch KOs from this range. Yeah, the Metagross has Bullet Punch, but I mean, if I want to play it safe, I could. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna go for, yeah, Surging Strikes. Yeah, they can't really do much anyways, because I have Incineroar and Urshifu. So I was gonna say, if I was really worried about it surviving like Flare Blitz or something, I could just Detect and yeah, Flare Blitz basically, and then Rillaboom comes out and I just Fake Out and Surging Strikes to finish off the Metagross basically. Okay, so I'm ready for game 2. Game 2, we're gonna switch it up. Game 2 here, I'm gonna bring back the Urshifu and Colossal. Now here's the thing, when I played them in the Swiss rounds, there was no way of knowing that they had switcheroo or eject button. I just literally had to take a guess, and yeah, I anticipated that they would have the switcheroo and eject button, and luckily for me, I guessed correctly that that was what they had. But during the top cut, it doesn't matter because it's open team sheet anyways. But yeah, the Swiss rounds were a lot harder to play because it's closed team sheet, and yeah, we had no way of knowing like the other Pokemon's items, abilities, or even the attacks or anything. But yeah, now we know each other's teams, so they know all my attacks, all my items, and I know all their attacks and items. So yeah. So it's really a lot more mind games with the open team sheets, and I actually really like the open team sheet format. Yeah, it's definitely allows you to. I mean, you can't really make any excuses in open team sheet games, because yeah, it just comes down to the plays, and yeah, whoever makes the better plays will win the games pretty much. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think Urshifu Colossal, and last time I went for Protect with Colossal. I'm gonna play a little more offensively this time because yeah, they probably think that I'm gonna play defensive and I'm gonna be afraid of the switcheroo and eject button, but they could switcheroo into my Urshifu instead, and that would screw me over. So okay, I thought maybe they would bring Thunderous to try and counter my Dragapult and Rillaboom, but they actually bring Entei. So this is really interesting. It's really good for me too. Now the only problem here is I'm gonna have to double into Entei with Surging Strikes and Vocalift because I have no idea what they're gonna do this turn. They could actually go for the Tailwind and yeah, expect me to like protect. Well, I mean, another thing honestly they could do is they could try to call my Colossus Protect, and they could switch her into Urshifu and go for like Sacred Fire into Urshifu, because Urshifu is slower than Entei. I'm gonna actually, let me see, do I want to get rid of Whimsicott? No, I want to double into Entei. I was thinking maybe I want to get rid of Whimsicott, so like in case they Tailwind and they don't like switcheroo or something, then yeah, at least I don't have to deal with that. But I think it's just better to double into Entei, because okay, if they switcheroo Colossal, then I might just lose the game. But I'm gonna have to take the risk because the last time I played defensive, I think they're gonna call me. They're gonna call my Colossus Protect, and they do call the Protect. But I didn't go for the Protect, so I made a really good play. They made a really interesting play too. Yeah, so they tried to read my Colossal going for Protect, but I didn't do that this time. But unfortunately, Urshifu is gonna get punished here. But I think this is definitely worth it. I mean, this is definitely fine. I mean, I get no weakness policy. Probably not gonna have that weakness policy activated, but that's fine. We get the Vocalift, and they lose their Entei. Or they should lose their Entei. But their Entei is actually choice banded. As yeah, thanks to the open team sheet, I'm able to see that. They actually had Stomping Tantrum, which is, yeah, would have been really scary. But yeah, I had to take the risk. I mean, you have to take risks in the top cut sometimes. Just really hope for the best, because yeah, you don't want to get like out predicted. So yeah, this is definitely a really hard matchup, but yeah, thankfully it's going really well. I was able to win the first game, and things are looking really good so far in this next game here. I have Fake Out Pressure. They might bring in, let's see, they might bring in the Tapu Fini now though. That's the only problem. That is the only problem I see here. But I didn't really want to bring Rillaboom yet, because yeah, they could set up Tailwind and then all of a sudden like, oh, Tapu Fini's, what do you call it? Well, Rillaboom getting switched in first before Feeny comes out is not good, because yeah, they get the Tailwind, and then yeah, they have the Misty Terrain. So if Feeny's faster with Misty Terrain, I can't even have the priority Grassy Glide. So that would really suck. And then I would just really have to hope for the best and try to attack with both of my Pokemon. Like it's kind of hard in that situation, because I don't really want to protect their Max Guard, because you really don't know what your opponent's going to target into. Okay, so here there's no point in using Fake Out because they haven't Dynamax yet, so yeah, they're gonna Dynamax Feeny, I'm sure. I kinda want a Max Guard, but I'm not really sure about this, because they might call the Max Guard now. This is a really bad position. I feel like they might call it. I mean, if they target Colossal, at least I get Parting Shot, and then yeah, a little more Vocalift damage. I'm thinking of Max Guarding, but I don't know if it's worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna Max Guard, but this is probably a very bad play. Let's see, they're gonna go for a Helping Hand. I mean, honestly they could go for a Helping Hand Muddy Water, so I don't think it matters. That's really interesting. I thought they would Dynamax because I have the Fake Out pressure. But yeah, well played. I mean, I guess they just want to Dynamax the Metagross. I mean, I do have Rillaboom in the back, so you don't really want to... Don't want to Dynamax that Feeny just yet. That's a fair play, but I mean, honestly, I feel like they didn't cover for Fake Out and G-Max Vocalift. Which, out of all honesty, that would have just won me the game right there. I'm surprised that they didn't cover for that, because I could have went for the Fake Out and G-Max Vocalift. But yeah, I tried to cover for the Dynamax. I figured they would probably Dynamax to block the Fake Out play. See, now I think they're just gonna Dynamax. But the thing is here, let's see. Oh, they could Dynamax and Max Guard Feeny. I don't really like this, but I mean, what I could do here is I can split my... I mean, I can't Max Guard twice. I can split... I mean, I could Max Guard twice, but it feels like such a waste. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I feel like I should have doubled into the Feeny slot. Okay, they're gonna switch into what I think is Metagross now. Ah, man, yeah, if I doubled into it, I would have just won the game right now. They went for a switcheroo. Okay. That is fine. So I get a Focus Sash now. That's cute. Colossal with a Focus Sash. Kind of upset, because, like, imagine if I doubled into the Feeny slot. But I don't think I would have, I don't think it would have really maxed there. I mean, that would have been the best play there. Yeah, I was considering it, but I was also considering considering that they might Dynamax Feeny and then just Vocalift Grassy Glide. I mean, even with Vocalift, I still would have done more. But Max Flare to cover for that, I guess because they haven't used their Dynamax yet, it was just a little risky for me if they do Dynamax Feeny. But then again, Rillaboom, I believe, can survive. They did have Helping Hand with the Whimsicott, so they could have like went for Helping Hand and Max Starfall to get rid of Rillaboom. Okay. So I need to switch out here. I'm gonna switch into Incineroar and I feel like I'm just forced to play kind of defensive here. I don't really want to, but yeah, I definitely need to, because I know Feeny. Okay, if Feeny doesn't Dynamax, then that's wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna switch into Incineroar here. Yeah, if Feeny doesn't Dynamax, that's wonderful. Because, yeah, I know Feeny's choice specs, they don't have Protect. I mean, first of all, they're locked into whatever move they use unless they use Trick. And they get rid of the choice item, but they don't have Protect, so I can just bring in Rillaboom and easily knock out the Feeny. Honestly, the issue is that I set up the Sun, I realized, and I have Urshifu in the back and it's burned. So the only way I can really deal somewhat decent damage to Metagross is by going for close combat. Okay, here's the Muddy Water. Another concern is they can start going for max Steel Spikes. So that's pretty bad. Although, I mean, they could just max Quake here. Or, yeah, max Hailstorm. Yeah, that would have knocked out the Rillaboom. So, yeah, that's why they went for Hailstorm. Because, yeah, Muddy Water would knock out Colossal, then you Hailstorm into Rillaboom. I'm really glad they didn't Steel Spikes. Because if they went for the max Steel Spikes, that would have been a huge problem. But again, like, Feeny can't protect, so I can just go for a Grassy Glide. I suppose Grassy Glide at that range, even with +1 defense, might pick up the KO. With the Grassy Terrain and the Miracle Seed. That's so funny. I have a Focus Sash Colossal. I just wish its HP was, like, at full health. That would have been nice. That's just so funny, because, like, yeah. Like, let's say it's at full HP, Feeny's the last Pokemon on the field, then Colossal Steam Engine gets activated. I can basically get 2 attacks into Tapu Fini. But yeah, with Colossal. But Colossal is taking damage, so that's not going to work out. What do we have here? Okay, so yeah, I'm going to bring Rillaboom. And then go for that Grassy Glide into Tapu Fini. And that should finish off the Tapu Fini. And I could just let Colossal faint here. I have Urshifu in the back. So yeah, my game plan now is to have basically an Urshifu endgame. Where I can take out the Metagross of Urshifu. But they do have Bullet Punch. So I have to make sure Urshifu doesn't get too low on the health. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Heat Wave. See if we can maybe try to get some damage onto the Metagross. I mean, I highly doubt that's gonna happen. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Grassy Glide. Yeah, because Metagross can just go for a max Quake here. Yeah, so that's bye-bye Colossal. But we still have Urshifu in the back, and Urshifu is burned and like can't do anything really. But we're gonna try and see if we can knock out this Metagross with the burned Urshifu. I mean, good thing here is that the Metagross is kind of on a timer in a way. Well, in terms of attacks, because they have a life orb. And yeah, this is a 4-attack Metagross. So they have to attack every single turn. So here, what I think we do is we need to preserve Urshifu. Yeah, Urshifu is burned, but like, is it even worth it protecting? Because Urshifu is still... I mean, honestly, with a burn Urshifu, honestly, it's basically Rillaboom is probably the Pokemon dealing the bigger damage. Actually, I'm gonna protect... I think I'm gonna protect Rillaboom because... yeah, Urshifu is not dealing as much damage as Rillaboom. Yeah, sadly, because Urshifu is burned, Rillaboom actually has better damage output than Urshifu. So I'm gonna preserve Rillaboom. Yeah, they haven't went for Steel Spikes at all. They went for Max Hailstorm, Max Quake. So both of my Pokemon have decent potential here to deal some decent damage, I guess, to the Metagross. I mean, it's doing nothing, but like, yeah, Rillaboom is gonna end up doing more damage. Let's see what they do. They don't go for Max Steel Spike at all. So it's a Max Quake. Yeah, they correctly read the Protect, or maybe they just see Urshifu being as more of a threat than Rillaboom. But in actuality, Rillaboom is the one that has the higher damage output here, because Urshifu is burned, so it's kind of like, in a way, its attacks are resisted against Metagross, even though they're not, because yeah, the burn causes its attack to have, and yeah, it's doing 50% of the damage it would normally do. And it's the same thing for Rillaboom basically, except that Rillaboom's grass type attacks are resisted because Metagross is steel type. So both attacks are like, both Pokemon are doing like 50% of their maximum damage output anyways. So yeah, Rillaboom with the grassy terrain and the Miracle Seed though is actually the Pokemon with the higher damage output, and that's why I think Rillaboom is the right Pokemon to save for this endgame. So now I have Rillaboom at maximum health, and this is really good. This is huge because, let's see, they have Ice Punch. But I'm hoping I can pick up the KO on the Metagross at this range. And if not, then hopefully Rillaboom can survive an Ice Punch. Okay, so Wood Hammer is enough to pick up the KO. And that's going to be good game. So I'm moving on to the top 4.